Hey boo, how many times in the course of becoming a conscious manifester and connecting more and more deeply into your inner awareness of being the operant power, how many times have you fallen off the horse, quite literally, fallen out of your state, allowed something in that was toxic? Neville Goddard called that when your state gets contaminated. And it happened to him, and it's happened to practically everyone who has experienced wanting to be more conscious, wanting to live perpetually from their I am, from what Neville Goddard called the promise. And it's knowing that when you do fall out of your state, it's coming back and not being harsh or beating yourself up or self-judgy. It's being kind and compassionate to yourself and just allowing yourself to say, hey, it was a learning experience and I'm ready to go on again. So this really came to light for me as something to discuss in a video when the other day someone sent me a meme with the lyrics from the chorus of a song. The song is called It's Okay, and it's by a band called Nightbird. And the line goes, and this was the line in the meme, and it said, "We are all a little lost, and it's all right." Well, is it? Even given what I was just saying at the beginning here. But if you stick around with me, you'll see what I mean by the end of the video. So yes, sure, as I was saying, we get thrown off course. But if that feeling of being confused and misdirected is perpetuated, or we take it for granted that, well, that's just my state, then it's time to make that U-turn and take a deeper look within. And from the viewpoint, first of all, of the law of assumption, of the I am operant power, of consciousness, the opening that says we are. And take a look here. We are is a way of speaking perhaps for the collective, for all people on the planet, for everyone through all time. But if we are saying that and multiplying I am, whether we're saying consciousness or the universe or the divine or God, the idea of being lost, even a little bit, does not exist. And words like all or everyone are generalizations. And the newer, fancier phrase for that is universal quantifiers, if you want to use that kind of terminology around it. But it's a generalization. It's making an assumption about all people. And if you're doing that, you're making an assumption, but not the kind that Neville was teaching, not the kind that we know from understanding consciousness and the law of assumption. What this is the kind of assume or taking a one-size-fits-all attitude. But assume is that old saying, to assume something about someone is to make a ASS out of you and me. So you have to step back and understand that it's not the kind of assuming that expands or transforms or elevates or is uplifting or motivating. It's a totally different, it's the original kind of assume. It's not assuming a greater state. It's not stepping up or stepping into the ideal self that knows that it is the inner authority, that knows that it is the operant power. So it's understanding the difference here. And this would be almost more closer to that thing called toxic positivity. That kind of, well, it's okay, or, it's okay, but how okay, and how long do you want that to be okay? In the face of knowing that what is within you is so much greater. And this is the key here. So, yes, it is to say, if a little lost means misdirected, we can find our way together. And my response from that was the quote by Ram Dass, the spirituality teacher, that says we are all walking each other home. That is really what we're doing. So if we're looking for support, it can come from that we can find our way mutually by holding each other up and supporting one another. And that is a very beautiful attitude to take. But we are also looking at the same time for our own inner sovereignty, our own inner authority of stepping firmly into knowing who we are, that we are a facet of the diamond that is God, that God is within us, seeing through your eyes, seeing through your ears, and speaking through your voice. So it's having that greater understanding. And even a little lost is what the Buddha called forgetting our true nature, ignorance of your true nature, which leads to attachment to suffering. This is what he talked about in the Four Noble Truths, which I recently mentioned in a previous video. And that it's letting our true nature get clouded over by all the misconceptions, whether you say they come in from the matrix or whether we were programmed to receive them in one way or another, subconsciously, consciously, from the time we were born. Bashar has talked about this, that it's the way we have become pre-programmed to feel less than or to shrink to fit in order to try to please others. So that can also make us feel lost within ourselves because we're spending all our time trying to do what we think is going to please other people, trying to keep the peace. But it keeps erupting. We can't always take care of everything. And we are neglecting taking care of ourselves. And if that's been you, you may want to leave that in the comments. So yes, it's a forgetting that makes us feel that we're a little lost. And it's coming back again and again to your true nature and dropping that attachment to suffering. So it's when you can let all those false assumptions that have come to us through, it can come through family, from society, from anything that's been falsely implanted, even if it was meant with good intentions, that still can happen, of course. So it's when you let go of those false ideas and start to see with new eyes, literally, freshly, by turning within, by slamming that door of what the senses are telling us about what appears to be outside that really is that illusion. It's a storyline. And drop that storyline of being lost and waking up to your own inner power. so that you're not having to run this way and that way, and that you're standing solidly, that you are standing firmly and groundedly. And when you do that, you are turning to your true inner nature, to your inner wealth. And you will no longer feel even a little lost. And if that feeling starts to come back, you can say, I was that. I don't know you anymore, lost person. I am here. And that's why the lyrics, I had quoted them before, but they're definitely worth saying again, from the great spiritual hymn, Amazing Grace. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. It comes up again and again. Again and again. So yeah, it's that we were blind to our true nature. Then we turn away from believing the appearances of things externally that we may be allowing to cause us to feel lost, off course. And it's feeling that, yeah, I was asleep, now I'm awake. It's all of that. So I'm not having to run all over. I'm solid. I'm standing strong in myself. It's owning my truth, that I'm a part of God. And God, I am contained within God. It's been, as it said, I am part of God and God is all of me. And that couldn't be a more beautiful way to end this than that. And thank you, Boo, for joining me here. And thank you to all of you who are new and returning subscribers. My channel has reached over 900 subscribers. I am so thrilled and grateful for your continued support. And I'll see you in the next video. Love you, Boo. See you soon.